What if the deepest, most profound wisdom isn't something you find buried in, dense academic texts or complex theories? What if it's actually in something far simpler, something you might not expect? Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're digging into exactly that, how truth and understanding can be revealed. And we're focusing on, well, a path that's often overlooked, one of humility and an open, almost childlike heart, rather than just sheer intellect. For this deep dive, we've pulled from some incredibly powerful ancient texts. We've got excerpts from the Psalms, that really foundational story from Exodus, and the Gospel of Matthew. And we're weaving all that together with insights from more contemporary reflection on these exact themes. So our mission, really, is to unpack what these sources tell us about receiving profound wisdom. How does revelation, that direct unveiling of truth, often from a divine source, how does that actually happen? And what does it truly mean to be, wise in this specific context? Let's get into it.
Okay, so following that surprising idea, that wisdom isn't just about accumulating facts.
Let's unpack why our sources suggest this different, unexpected path. Because we typically associate wisdom with, immense study, advanced degrees, intellectual skill. But Psalm 119, verse 130, it offers this kind of radical counterpoint. It says, the unfolding of your words gives light. It gives understanding to the simple. Simple.
Yeah, and what's truly fascinating here is how this concept isn't just, isolated in the Psalms. It's so clearly echoed later in the Gospel of Matthew. Jesus himself exclaims this. He says, I give praise to you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, for although you have hidden these things from the wise and the learned, you have revealed them to the childlike.
To the childlike, wow.
And then he adds, almost underscoring it, yes, Father, such has been your gracious will. It's a very deliberate, very powerful statement about who receives this kind of understanding. So the question isn't just about being simple-minded, right? It's more about what posture, what state of being allows for this kind of revelation.
Right. That's a crucial distinction. It's definitely not about being naive or unthinking, is it? And that contemporary reflection we're looking at, it really helps connect these dots for us. It emphasizes that a deeper understanding doesn't just come from intellect alone. It comes from a heart that is open in faith. It actually says, God's wisdom is a gift for those who approach him with trust and simplicity. So maybe for you listening, what might it mean to seek profound truth with that kind of trusting, open heart? It really challenges our definition of smart, doesn't it?
It really does.
So, okay, to see this idea of revelation actually in action, how this wisdom gets imparted, let's turn to maybe the foundational story of divine encounter, Moses and the burning bush. So we pick up with Moses. He's a shepherd leading his father-in-law Jethro's flock. Takes him across the desert to Horeb, which is also known as the mountain of God. And there he sees something truly incredible. The text says, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in fire flaming out of a bush. But the really astonishing thing, the hook, was that the bush, though on fire, was not consumed.
Just imagine seeing that.
Right. And Moses' initial reaction, it wasn't fear, interestingly enough. It was surprise and curiosity. He actually decides, I must go over to look at this remarkable sight and see why the bush is not burned. He wants to investigate.
He's drawn in.
Exactly. And as Moses gets closer, God calls out directly from the bush, Moses, Moses! And his response, simple, here I am. Immediately, though, God commands him, come no nearer. Remove the sandals from your feet, for the place where you stand is holy ground.
That act, removing the sandals, it's huge.
It's incredibly significant, isn't it? It's such a clear sign of reverence, of submission, a foundational act of humility before the divine. And this is before he even knows the full scope of what's happening.
He just obeys.
Then God identifies himself, stating, I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob. Connects him to his heritage. And he also reveals his deep awareness of the suffering of the Israelites. He says, the cry of the children of Israel has reached me, and I have truly noted that the Egyptians are oppressing them. He sees. He hears.
He's paying attention.
Yes. And then comes this, immense directive to Moses. Come now, I will send you to Pharaoh to lead my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. Just like that.
Out of the blue, essentially.
And Moses' response to this enormous task, especially given the powerful revelation he just witnessed, it's striking in its humility, almost doubting. He asks, who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and lead the children of Israel out of Egypt?
It's a very human reaction.
Totally. But God reassures him, doesn't just leave him hanging. He gives this powerful promise, I will be with you. And this shall be your proof that it is I who have sent you. When you bring my people out of Egypt, you will worship God on this very mountain, a future sign.
And that initial question from Moses, who am I? Well, Yeah, it's certainly rooted in self-doubt. It also shows this profound lack of self-importance. It's
Yes.
not focused on his own capabilities.
Yeah.
And that very posture, that humility, makes him incredibly open to a divine calling that completely transcends his own abilities or what he thinks his limitations are. It really echoes that childlike theme we talked about earlier, that readiness to receive instruction, to receive revelation, rather than relying purely on one's own qualifications or resume.
He wasn't thinking, okay, what's my degree in liberation theology?
Exactly. He was just thinking, wait, me.
It's such a great point. It's like being asked to, I don't know, run a marathon when you haven't even tied your running shoes in years. You'd naturally ask, hold on, me. And it's often in that space of perceived inadequacy, that the greatest opportunities for growth, and definitely in this context, revelation, often emerge. So, okay, we've seen how this humble posture allowed Moses to receive this incredible revelation. Let's shift focus a bit now to the source of that revelation. What do these texts tell us about the character of the one doing the revealing? And why does that character matter for how truth is shared?
That's a really important layer to this.
Yeah, and the responsorial psalm, Psalm 103, which is a type of psalm often sung in response during worship, it paints this beautiful picture of divine character. It has that central recurring theme, the Lord is kind and merciful. Just repeats it.
Kind and merciful, foundational.
And it lists specifics, doesn't it? It's not just abstract goodness. He pardons all your iniquities, heals all your ills, redeems your life from destruction, and crowns you with kindness and compassion. That's quite a list.
It's very comprehensive. It covers physical, spiritual, emotional well-being.
And it also tells us something about justice. The Lord secures justice and the rights of all the oppressed. And importantly, it links directly back to Moses, saying, he has made known his ways to Moses and his deeds to the children of Israel. So this isn't just general character. It's character demonstrated through specific actions, specific revelations.
Right. And this, well, it brings up an important question, doesn't it? When wisdom is revealed, especially in this biblical context, it seems intrinsically tied to the character of the revealer, who is shown as compassionate, just, and actually profoundly intentional in how and to whom truth gets shared.
Intentional is a good word there.
Yeah, and Matthew 11.27 really underscores this intentionality.
Yeah.
It emphasizes the deep connection, the flow of knowledge within the divine itself. It says, all things have been handed over to me by my Father. No one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son wishes to reveal him.
Wishes to reveal her.
Right. So it's a deliberate, chosen revealing, not just a random download of information. It implies a kind of knowing, a relationship that transcends human intellect entirely.
Okay, so bringing this all back to, practical application for us, for you listening, our sources really prompt us to consider how this works in our own lives. The question posed in our source material is pretty direct. How can I practice greater humility and openness to God's wisdom today?
It's a direct invitation to personal reflection right now.
Makes you stop and think.
It does. And it encourages us to maybe try and let go of pride, to genuinely trust in a wisdom that goes far beyond our own, and to actively cultivate a heart that, as it says, delights in your presence and teaching. So divine wisdom, as we've seen through these texts, isn't just passively received. It's described as a gift for those who approach with trust and simplicity. And those qualities, our sources suggest, need to be actively cultivated. It's like tending a garden.
Yeah, it's an ongoing posture, isn't it? Not just a one-time event or decision.
Exactly.
And that feels like the real shift. It's not about achieving wisdom through sheer intellectual effort, like climbing a ladder. It's more about receiving it through a particular kind of receptivity, like opening a door.
Good analogy. In a world that constantly pushes us to know more and be smarter, this idea of wisdom being revealed to the childlike suggests that sometimes, well, maybe the smartest thing we can do is simply be open, humble, ready to receive.
So summing up then, this deep dive, it's shown us that profound understanding, divine revelation. Maybe it isn't exclusive to the intellectually elite. It seems often freely given to those with a humble spirit, that childlike openness we've discussed.
A radically different model of knowing.
Definitely. So as you go about your day, maybe consider the implications of this idea. If true wisdom is revealed not necessarily to the wise and learned in the conventional sense, but to the childlike, what forms of knowing or learning might we need to sort of set aside, or at least hold more loosely, to truly receive deeper insights in our own lives? What might it actually mean practically to cultivate a heart of a child in a world that so often values complexity and, well, intellectual might above all else? Something to think about.